powerful crafting equipment. In Dragonflight, you will find many recipes for extremely powerful craftable equipment. In fact, every primary crafting profession can craft one or more pieces, all of which work under a shared system with the following attributes. Up to, oops, I can't see now. Where'd it go? Okay. Up to 5 of these crafted pieces can be equipped at once, with two-handed weapons counting as 2. What? Even primary crafting profession can craft one or more pieces, all which work under a shared system. Uh-oh. Time gating. And I'll read this one more time. In Dragonflight, you will find many recipes for extremely powerful craftable equipment. In fact, every primary crafting profession can craft one or more pieces, all of which work under a shared system with the following attributes. That sounds like some time gating. Uh-oh. Up to five of these crafted pieces can be equipped at once, with two-handed weapons counting as 2. With two-handed weapons counting as 2, that sounds like garbage. That specific part about two-handed weapons counting as 2. All of them start in island level range near to normal raids, increasing with quality. Through earned optional reagents, they can be brought up to heroic and even mythic raid item levels, making them competitive with some of the best gear you can find. That sounds interesting. We can make mythic raid tier gear? That sounds interesting, and that's going to be very lucrative and very rare. All are soulbound. So you'll either need to craft them yourself or have someone craft them for you through a crafting order. Okay. Each piece of crafted equipment will require several types of soulbound reagents that you will need to earn to craft it and improve it with optional reagents. One type of reagent will come from various challenging activities, including dungeons, raids, PvP, and adventuring some dangerous outdoor areas. Can we say Sword Art Online? I've been thinking about this ever since I've seen that episode of Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online is a Japanese MMO style anime. Long story short, it's about being stuck playing a MMO, except it's a virtual reality MMO. The point I'm making is that there was one episode of this anime where you had to go to an outdoor area partnered with a DPS, and you were the merchant, the crafter, and you had to gather this item. And then it's like, this is like the same shit. Adventuring in some dangerous outdoor area, it's the same shit. But that's okay, Blizzard. I'd rather you copy the wheel instead of try and reinvent it. It works just fine. You will need to earn a fair amount of this reagent to craft a piece of equipment. More for significant pieces. You can also use this reagent to construct an optional reagent to bring this equipment up to around heroic raid item level. A second type of reagent will come from a series of quests that award you enough to craft one piece of equipment. Additional stages of these quests will become available to everyone every few weeks. That sounds good. A little time gating, but you can't just like blow it all out the water the first freaking week. To upgrade this equipment to around Mythic Raid item level, you will need to acquire a final reagent that can only be obtained in the highest tiers of content. Mythic Raids, the highest levels of Mythic Plus, and highly rated PvP. I'm skipping PvP. I may try and do Mythic Plus on my own. I mean, as the group Comet Healer. But it's soulbound, right? Yeah, it's soulbound, so I'll only be able to do that on certain characters. Well, I'll just have to rework some things. Philosophically, the goal of this system is to have professions be a meaningful source of high-end gear, elevating the importance and value of professions. As a crafter, you'll need to go to significant effort to gain the skills, specialization, and recipes necessary to craft this gear, but it should be well worth it. As a user of this gear, you also need to go out and acquire many of the reagents yourself. The soulbound reagents are designed to provide a means of deterministic incremental progress towards gear of your choice while doing the activities of your choice. In addition, the quest acquired reagent mentioned above will limit how quickly you can acquire high-end crafted gear. This will prevent it from overwhelming other sources of gear while giving you the freedom to choose from where and how quickly you want to acquire the other regions. Wait a minute. It says this will prevent it from overwhelming other sources of gear. Is anybody that's listening, have they not played Shadowlands? Because gear does not drop in Mythic Dungeons. It doesn't drop in regular dungeons. I didn't raid, so I don't know about raiding. But it damn sure didn't drop in Mythic Plus. It damn sure didn't. Not for me anyway. It didn't drop shit. So when they say prevented from overwhelming other sources of gear, there were no other sources of gear aside from the loot chest at the end of the week every Tuesday. But that's neither here nor there, I suppose. Alchemy and files in the Dragon Isles. You will find many strange and wondrous concoctions to discover during your alchemical experimentations on the Dragon Isles. One of these is the standardization of the file as an innovative replacement for the flask. Files work very similarly to flasks, lasting through death and counting as both a battle and guardian elixir. The main difference is that they tend to require about half the reagents to craft and last half as long, but two can be drunk together to get the duration of a flask for extra flexibility. Oh, okay. So instead of, wait a minute, how long does a flask last? An hour? That sounds like more gold. I'm with that. The reason this flexibility is beneficial is that a wide variety of files can be discovered, each with their own unique uses. The experienced adventurer may even find that they want to switch files from battle to battle, hence the added flexibility of a shorter duration. Just a few of the many options can be seen below. Numbers very much not final. Let's see, Trepid versatility, static empowerment, charge isolation, increase your versatility, last 30 minutes. Remain stationary will increase your inlet up to 240 over 5 seconds. Movement consumes the effect, granting up to 500 speed for 5 seconds. That sounds good. Your intellect is increased by 225 while at least 10 yards from your allies. That sounds good. And it's a file, so files are going to replace Flask because they're a little bit more flexible. Instead of an hour off rip, they're going to be 30 minutes, which keeps you from wasting as much. Like if I wanted to switch Flask, I don't have to, it doesn't feel bad to waste the time remaining on an hour Flask. I only needed it for 20, 30 minutes as opposed to using a file. And I just have to buy twice as many, I suppose. That could, it depends on how people feel about that. If that's going to swing, hopefully not pendulum swing either way to being more lucrative, which is fine. But we also want it to be more flexible. I think I can get behind files, especially with variety. We want variety. We don't want dull and boring. Note that because of the wide variety of files you may want to consider, you will not find a cauldron recipe for files in the Dragon Isles, but you will find one for the most powerful craftable potions. Finally, you may be wondering about alchemists and file duration. Not to worry. Alchemists who choose to specialize in files will discover the secret to making files last significantly longer for them. This is just the start of what we have planned for Professions in Dragonflight. Check back here on the official site for more as we progress through development. Thanks for reading, and we look forward to hearing your impressions and thoughts. We'll see you in the Dragon Isles. Okay. So far, sounds pretty interesting. I don't really feel confused. I just feel that I want more details. Of course, I want an alpha or a beta to play around with. But everything they said, it depends on how the community as a whole in general is going to get with, because like say the crafting with quality from just playing World of Warcraft since vanilla, not classic, vanilla, off and on. I admit, I know when the game's not fun, I stop playing. I don't really bitch on the forums, but the issue that a potential issue I see with quality is that people usually want the best of the best. I mean, I'll sell whatever. I'll sell it as long as somebody's buying it because I don't care. Because there's a niche for everything. There's somebody out there that wants the lesser quality. But in general, it seems that people want the best of the best. Like with legendaries and Shadowlands, nobody bought the lower ones. They didn't buy them. We vendored them. They bought the highest ones, or they saved up their money if they didn't have it to buy the higher rated ones. So I don't know. I'm just gonna have to see. I'm not gonna speculate too much on it, but I don't know how well quality, quote unquote, is gonna pan out. I was thinking about that. I was wondering about that before with the previous developer post from the lead coder. I assume he was talking about quality. I'm like, how is quality going to play out? Because people like buying the best of the best, at least on my server, and it feels like the community is just like that. Like, no, we're not going with the mid tier, the low end. Some people will. We're just going with boom, the best. Oh, I ain't got the money. Boom, I save it and get the best. They don't mess with it. But they're saying with the quality, even though I'm saying with the best of the best, they're talking about where did they list that at? They're talking about the difference is not that great. It's just if you want to min max. Not everybody min maxes for sure. But I'm scrolling for the difference that they kind of pointed out a little bit. Here we go. Like this right here. For quality, now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at the difference. Remember how I said it earlier when I was speaking? The difference between the first three is only 2 points. And the difference between the last three, two, whatever, is 3 points. So it's a difference, but it's kind of like min maxing at that point. Because from 270 to 272, okay. 272 to 274, okay. 274 to 277, that's a little, okay, a little bit of a step up. And 277 to 280, a little bit of a step up. But the total across is only 10 item level, which is still a significant amount because we had an item level squish. So that's still going to be significant, but it may, depending on how it's tweaked, it may, I was about to say twerk, but it may depend on how they what's the word I'm looking for? How they balance it. You know, what's that difference between 270 and 280? There's going to be a difference. It's still 10 item levels, but is it a difference of min-maxing? Can you settle for the 274 that's right in the middle? Is the quality, are people going to ignore it and just be like, I want 280. I don't want 270. I don't want 272. I don't want 274. I don't want 277. I want 280 because it's the best. I wonder about that. But we're just gonna have to, and I don't think there's anyone that can just be like, oh, it's gonna go this way, oh, it's gonna go that way, because this is fairly new for World of Warcraft, a quality like system. To me, it's like some Final Fantasy type stuff, which I'm fine with. Don't reinvent the wheel. We don't want you doing that no more. We want you to do something that's stable and that works and that's interesting and that's fun to play. We don't want you reinventing the wheel no more. I'm perfectly fine with you, quote unquote, borrowing ideas or maybe even copying. I don't know where, because there are a lot of MMOs that do quality, and WoW is just not jumping on the bandwagon, which they should have. They could have led the way. But I digress. Crafting orders may take off. Well, they're gonna take off. I just don't. I'm just not sure how well they're gonna take off, because once you've leveled up and you're crafting the higher end, but there's gonna be gold goblins crafting the higher end, crafting the mid, crafting the low. I'm crafting whatever sells because I don't care. I could see it. It depends on how the community is. Are they receptive to this change? We're gonna read a few comments. We're not gonna. I'm gonna do a separate VOD because this VOD is getting long. I want this just to be my thoughts, and then we're gonna go into a different VOD for the comment section. Just breezing over it, see if there are any blue posts. So that's the crafting orders. Specializations, again, with the specializations. Wait a minute. Let me scroll down. I talked about the quality, finishing reagents, crafting speed seems like kind of poo poo, but somebody will buy it. Guaranteed crit and haste and stuff like that. You know, stuff that goes together. Crit and haste definitely go together. That seems good. Now, these crafting stats. Again, inspiration seems good for leveling your crafting skill. Once you have maxed out your crafting skill, if that's possible, I would get rid of inspiration and pick either resourcefulness or multi-craft, depending on if I'm making gear. I want resourcefulness. If I'm crafting consumables, I want multi-craft. Crafting speed seems like a waste of time. Unless there is something very significant where the speed is like, oh, this is going to take a day to craft, then that could be problematic, and that would be so large of a jump that the community is not going to go for stuff that took, a minute, not even a minute, like 10, 15, 20 seconds to craft per item. It's taking like a day. That's some Final Fantasy, Sword Art Online type stuff. They're not going to go for that large pendulum like swing. So crafting speed is probably garbage. I want to craft the best of the best and everything in between because I want to be the very best. Like No one ever was. And to craft them, that's my real test. To sell them is my cause. And I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. I'm not going to teach you Pokemon, but I will become to understand the power of crafting that's inside. Crafting Mon, that's going to be a thing. Oh yeah. Their philosophy sounds going in the right direction. All this is tentative and skeptical. It's hopeful. It's hopeful. It sounds good. It sounds good. But they have done things that have sounded good before. I need an alpha. I need to test it. Or really a big PTR. 'Cause I want to see how other people feel. But actually, now this will tie into something, a few Dragonflight powerful crafted equipment. So do the content that you want the gear for. You want mythic raiding gear, do raids to get the soulbound raid crafting reagents. You want mythic gear, do the mythic dungeons to get the soulbound um crafting reagents. You want PvP gear, which is a hot topic. Do some PvP to get the soulbound PvP gear. I'm not doing PvP, so that'll just be a bonus sales for me. They're gonna have to come with those because I'm not doing any of that. I don't like PvP. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. I like Warsong Gulch, and that's about as far as I go. But the point I'm trying to make is that right now the game is not like that. In Dragonflight, if they're talking about you do the content you want to get the soulbound reagents for, they're going to have to change how the game is. They're literally going to have to change it because if you want a PvP right now in wait a minute. If you want a PvP right now in Shadowlands, you have to do player versus environment content to get the legendaries, to get the what do you call it, the spells for the legendaries. You have to do PVE to get decent enough gear to PvP. You have to. There is no if ands or buts about it. And you have to do covenants. Covenants, that's PVE too, because you got to do quests and stuff like that. They're gonna have to change that and make this system a little more isolated. Like especially in regards to PvP for crafting. If you want PvP crafted gear, let them do their PvP because a lot of people, and I haven't spoken to that many people. I'm lying here, but the people that I've spoken to, when they say they like the PvP, they mean they like the PvP. They do not like doing dungeons. They do not like questing. They don't like doing none of that shit. They just want a PvP. So they're gonna have to change the game up a little bit to isolate that for PvP, Mythic Plus, and raids. You do that content, you get those soulbound reagents. They're gonna have to if they want this to not piss people off. And that where is it? Two-handed weapons counting as two, they don't do double damage. So why is it counting as two weapons? That's annoying. Cause I like Fury Warrior and I don't mess with single-handed weapons. I like two-handed weapons. And I use two of them. I'm a Fury Warrior. That's not gonna work because I'm already using. I got two-handed weapons. That's 4 slots. I only got 1 slot for equipment. No, that ain't fair. Like kind of make me. I don't even play my warrior. I don't even know why I'm angry. I'm not even angry. I'm just annoyed. Alchemy and files. Oh, on that, what they said. Not to worry. Alchemists who choose to specialize in files will discover the secret to making files last significantly longer for them. I don't care about that. That don't help me make no gold. Okay, so that's the end of my how I feel about it. I feel positive, hopefully optimistic. It sounds good, but it always sounds good. I've been playing World of Warcraft for a minute. It always sounds good, but they tend to have been dropping the ball, especially in the last 5 or 6 years. Legion, I heard, was an excellent expansion pack, but Battle for Azeroth started dropping it a little bit. Even for me, I didn't play Legion, but I played Battle for Azeroth. I can't remember everything that I disliked, but I remember there were quite a few things I did not like, and it made me stop playing. But that was at least when I found gold making. I do like gold making. Found that in Battle for Azeroth. Battle for Azeroth. Even got my Brutosaur, as you can see there. But like I don't know. I'm hopefully optimistic. If this pans out and the community accepts it and they implement changes to try and push this and make it a thing, I don't mind being the best crafter in my realm. I will play the game and just do that. But I want to I want an alpha. I want an alpha like kind of quick because they got 5 months, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They have less than 5 months. I think they're going to end up. I think they're kind of rushing it, but that's just me. But that's an hour, and I'm gonna end the stream for a moment for about for about 10 or 15 minutes. I want this VOD to be just me and my thoughts on how I feel about it, and then I'll start the stream up in like maybe like 20 minutes or something like that, and talk about the comments and whatnot. But thank you for joining. Thank you for those that are lurking. Thank you for those that are chit chatting. Oh, nobody chit chatted, but that's fine. It's cool as long as I helped you out and you like the content. Come back and check me out if you feel like it. That's pretty cool. And I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Later.